When heroes come together for a crisis, there's two things you need to expect. One, a badass threat, in this case the Anti-Monitor, but something else, an existential threat, which I guess in this case is the Anti-Monitor. But as the team is going for Wave Riders, no, not this one, the ship, because we still don't get this one, we're brought up with the idea of what happens when you fight crime too long. Do you turn into the villain? Do you lose hope? And that is tonight's episode. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Episode 2 of Crisis on Infinite Earths. You want to know what? I don't even know what show this is. Is this Flash tonight? I think this is Flash tonight. Alright, so the Crisis is in full bore, and I have to say, some of what I was worried about last night seems to be fixed. This episode seems to be a little harder going. And one of the big things that I think they really, really slammed home, besides the whole, making the cameos count at least a little bit more, was the fact that there are consequences. And the whole Ollie thing really proves that. But alright, for those of you that don't know, what I do here is I take apart stories. I pull them apart, try to figure out how and why we tell them, and then come up with theories of storytelling. Things like how we do this and how we do that. If that sounds interesting to you, or if you want to help support the channel, then you know the buttons to click. But for now, we're going to get right into the fact that, again, tonight's episode is all about paragons and hope. And the idea that as a hero, not just as a vigilante, but as a hero, what does that mean? And it also plays into the fact that sometimes the Monitor can be a jackass. And when he says everyone has a role to play, remember, there's two types of roles, the hero and the villain. I still haven't seen, but I'm still hoping, especially with Constantine showing up tonight, that we might get that Spectre cameo, maybe at the beginning of January instead of now. But either way, I want you all to prepare, because as Earths die and Earths live, no matter what happens, I promise you, there is one hell of a cliffhanger coming. And as we watch Earths blink out and numbers roll through, I would not be surprised if the cliffhanger was they lose. So sit in, strap in, the Wave Rider's up for launch, and it can't be Legends of Tomorrow, right? That's not even back yet. For episode 2 of Crisis on Infinite Earths. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. So we have a whole bunch of things going on, not the least of which is the Monitor brought back the book. He did so that Luthor could steal it, so that they would be on a time crunch, so that they could find a way to save the multiverse. They split themselves up, looking for paragons, and as such, we send Batwoman to look for Batman, and we send the rest of them looking for Superman. And I guess we'll start there. We'll start with Kingdom Come Batman / Dark Knight Returns Batman. And, as much as it was a weird Batman, I have to say Kevin Conroy's voice gave me chills the entire time. I said this in the lead-up video that I made, but growing up, this was Batman for me. Batman the Animated Series. That and Adam West, the two were a toss-up. And somewhere along the lines, whenever I read Batman comics, in fact, even to this day, if I pick up, right now I'm reading Detective, when I read Batman, Kevin Conroy is the voice of Batman in my head. So it was kind of weird, because when I read Kingdom Come all those years ago, that's whose voice I heard when he was in that exoskeleton, when he was kind of badass, but I did not expect to see those glasses and what was it that Supergirl called it? The trophy case. Meanwhile, he's far from the only Superman that's been killed. Now, this appears to be Superboy, to be honest, but, whatever. Either way, they go to the Smallville world, and I have no idea what happened in chapter 11 or season 11 that was the comic book, so I don't know how on point this was. I was told they were going to be using the season 11 from the comics, and again, I don't know it, but Clark gave up his powers to have kids? I guess that's, I don't know, weird? Weirder still was that somehow Lex knew that this Clark Kent was Superman, but not all Clark Kents were Superman. That just didn't seem to sit right for me. But that's okay, because Lex is really just a throwaway villain to force them to come to terms with what's going on. And like I said, this whole episode is about what it means to be a hero. So then we get to Kingdom Come slash, let me think, what would be the Injustice game, the world where Joker killed Lois and Perry and pretty much everyone. And this Superman just kept going because he was the actual Superman. He was the hero, and he knew that he had to push on. And even when Lex used the book to twist him, which, by the way, I love the fact that in reality it was Lois and why can't I think of her name? Flash's girlfriend. Oh, that's kind of embarrassing. Well, the two reporters were the ones to save the day by knocking him out. Because I kept wondering why they didn't just super speed using Clark to take the book away. But either way, it was really cool, especially with the fact that once they got the book back, they couldn't use the book because they weren't powerful enough. But that's okay, because the power of love saved the day. Power of love. With the idea of your Lois would not want you to do this, which is the real way, which is part of why I don't like the Injustice storyline. I mean, I like it from it's a cool alternative thing, but I don't like it as in it doesn't seem like Superman to me because, yeah, Lois wouldn't want you to. But that's far from the only moment that we have. So, yeah, we have the Batman who gave up all hope and the Superman who, despite all the evil, and the Monitor wanting to recruit both of them. Meanwhile, we have a dead hero, because every crisis requires one, in this case, Oliver. And we're using Constantine and Jonah Hex stand in and trying to bring him back using a Lazarus Pit from another world. I mean, seriously, how hard is it to bring people back in this world at this point? But okay, they bring his body back with the Lazarus Pit, and then they need Constantine to bring his soul back, which, to be fair, he's done before. But, also to be fair, is totally a cheat with the way the last episode ended. But again, the whole point of this is, what do you do? He sacrificed himself, so we need him, right? And again, we don't exactly have a whole army of people capable of fighting those shadow demons, although we kind of do because, let's not forget, he's like the least powerful member of the team. Well, I guess Batwoman's the least powerful member of the team right now, but we also know that there are other members coming. And there's part of me that wonders if this wasn't the team-born version of the Firestorm effect again, where we had Flash going to resurrect him specifically because we knew if we sent Flash with the others to recruit the Supermen, that it would be a problem. Then again, I'm also curious about these other Paragons and what they are capable of and exactly what we're going to see. Now, with that, I would like to point out that this was all the Monitor. And this is perfectly in character with the character of the Monitor from the comics. He is a jerkwad. But tonight's whole episode basically revolves around the team falling apart, the aftermath of what happened to Oliver, and realistically setting up the idea of what Ray is designing at the base, which is an infinite amount of time machines called Wave Riders, and the fact that they have to go hunting the Anti-Monitor sooner or later. But of course, we had to have that little bit of a trick. And of course, there's a couple of them. Constantine can't bring back Ali's soul, so he's just going to be a monster. And Batman isn't really the Paragon, Batwoman is. She's the Bat of the future. It's a crisis of faith. It's a crisis of bringing out the best in your heroes. And I have to say, the fact that she held on to the kryptonite shows that she actually is thinking ahead. There's quite a few reasons why you might need that. I'm afraid of what they're going to do with it, though. More and more, though, as the episode ended, I really, really felt that there was just so much going on that this itself could have been so much greater. I did like the heat wave jokes. I really liked the baby. I, of course, loved seeing older Superman. But I don't know, like, it just felt so, oh my god. And I'm still waiting to see exactly what they're doing. And now, tomorrow, is it going to be time for a Flash to die? Or is that a trick too? I don't know. Even still, Kevin Conroy being a live action Batman was awesome, even if it was a darker Batman. We haven't seen Black Lightning yet, and we haven't seen anything really of what the Anti Monitor is going to do. In fact, didn't last week, or not, yeah, last week, didn't yesterday end with Pariah showing up? Where was he this whole episode? I'm sure the Paragon detectors are about to play a big role, and we'll see who they are. The fact that we still don't know where John is. I think John might be involved in pulling Delilah out of the whole clutches of the Anti Monitor because at the end of the episode, that's who she's going to be working for. We also haven't seen Elongated Man, have we? What what show was this tonight? I don't even know. Okay, so Batwoman. This was Batwoman, right? Because that's why Lucas was here. That makes sense. Which, by the way, that was kind of funny. Hey, he's kind of cute. Don't go there. And now I wonder if that house, since they obviously built sets for it, will show up in later episodes of Batwoman. It just makes sense. They obviously used the same Batcave. Really interesting. But yeah, the Monitor, even though he's the protagonist of the Monitor versus the Anti-Monitor, he's still a jerk. He set this all up. He made a fight happen, two of them really, just to force people to evolve. Now remember, I said back during my preview video that he was going to try to get heroes to level up, heroes to push farther, and that's what we're seeing now. So we have three Paragons down, Ollie unaccounted for, and still soulless. And of course, we still have at least one or two more tricks up. And again, I would not be surprised if tomorrow night's episode literally ends with them losing, because that'll be the big cliffhanger. But those are my thoughts for now. What are yours? Especially, I'm curious, if you were the Monitor, who would you want on your team? Forget the idea of Paragons. Just you can recruit from the multiverse. All the movies and TV shows are in. Who would you recruit? And maybe I'll pick someone that has a best answer and feature them when I do tomorrow's video. For now, it's time for me to ask you to do all the things YouTubers ask, like and share, subscribe, and then to thank my Patreon so far. And of course, ask you to stick around. Help me out. Let's talk about this. Figure out, because I'll tell you right now, this, much like some of the other videos I've done, has told me that there's a bit of voice we need to talk about. But that'll be in January. For now, I hope you have a good night, and thanks for watching.